If you're paying too much for costly print or newspaper ads, or would like to try television advertising, then give Positive Promotions a call at 302-292-3994. Or to find out more about our television and video production services, go to our website at www.PosProTV.com.
Hi, and welcome to CRAZY4CARZ.com, and I would say that is Cars. Steve Gray here with Tim Qualls. As we get started, because this is a brand new show, and I'm excited. When I say brand new, not quite so new, because it used to be called Cruise Night. We used to go out here and do it on a weekly basis, my brother-in-law and myself, Jimmy Biggs, and now it's, we're letting you take the realm there, Steve.
It's Crazy for Cars, Crazy with a Z, Cars with a Z, and the number 4 in the middle, .com. This is going to be a car show for car guys, about car guys, from car guys. Send us an email. If there's something that you want to see, let us know about it. If you want to see more tuner cars, tell us about it. If you want to see more muscle cars, if you want to see more trucks, if you want to see more late models, more old stuff, let us know. Send us an email.
So it ain't our show, it's more of their show.
The show is all for the car person, car enthusiast.
Yeah, when you talk about that, because I want to remind you, because you can get involved with the show each and every week, because we're going to be shooting a brand new show, and those that aren't familiar with Blue Diamond Park need to get familiar with it, because that's where it's going to be held. We just, in fact, just held a truck show here a few weeks ago, and what a setup they've got for us set up there.
Absolutely. You've got some footage of that. You'll probably run some of that. Something else that's really important, a lot of the shows you see on TV are for high-dollar, really expensive exotics. High-dollar muscle cars. This show is going to be more for the regular car guy. This is, I mean, we're going to have some nice cars on the show, but it doesn't have to be a high-dollar car to bring it out.
And they got roller coasters and Ferris wheels and all kinds of things at the amusement park. So it's a nice place for the family to come out and enjoy while they go, you know, for the car guy. Because you got people out there that's not like, you know, that all die hard.
I'll be looking at the cars. You go on the Ferris wheel.
That's kind of what we're going to do. I mean, and that's what the show's going to kind of consist of, because we've got a great family venue that we can take place. Because a lot of car shows, you go and the kids really, they get kind of bored with the cars after a little bit, and so there's some of them that really get into it, but the majority of them want something else to do. This gives them a whole different thing to do, Steve.
There's a lot to do there with the miniature golf, the rides, there's food, there's drinks. It's great for the whole family, and let's not forget about the cars. That's what we're here to do the show about. This is some great, great cars we're going to see.
It is happening every Sunday. 12 o'clock until 5 o'clock. We're going to be out at Blue Diamond Park. That's right off of Route 13 and Route 1 come together there. You can't miss it once you get there, because the Ferris wheels all standing up in the sky. They've got the brand new log flume ride for the kids. I'm just trying to plug the park a little bit here, Steve, and then we'll get back to, because what's nice about it, you get somebody like me that's not a real car enthusiast. I mean, I like looking at them, and then I see things like the one that's sitting here beside us, and that just catches. I don't care if you're into cars, not into cars. If you ever read an Archie comic book, this will throw you into that era. I mean, what a great car.
We'll talk about this car after the break, but let's go pay some bills.
CRAZY4CARZ.com. That's 4 with a 4 and the letter number 4, I should say.
Right, with the number 4, Cars with a Z.com. Tim, we're in my shop. This car doesn't belong to me. This belongs to a buddy of mine, a buddy of everybody's. If you go to any of the car shows, you've seen the car. This is one hot rod right here.
When you say hot rod, Steve, I want to remind everybody, too, you can see these and a lot of hot rods each and every Sunday at Blue Diamond Park right off Route 13. Now I'm going to get into the park. I want to just remind people who tune in for the first time that we're doing it from your garage, but we're going to do it every Sunday from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock at the Blue Diamond Park down there. So come on down, bring your car. Now, hot rod, is that what you refer to these as?
Well, all of these are hot rods. I mean, this is actually a street rod. This is actually a T-bucket. It's a 23T. Bob started with this car. He bought this. It was a school project, actually, when he picked it up. And it didn't look anything like what you see here. It looked like somebody had taken the car and dipped it in yellow paint. I don't think there's any yellow left anywhere. Bob's taken the car apart, actually, a couple of times. He's going from like a tunnel ram type setup to now, as you can see, it's got a real healthy blower on top. There's a set of wheelie bars out back. He's had wheelie bars on it before. This is a real set of wheelie bars, and he needs them. It takes a lot of guts to drive this thing, and Bob's got the guts to drive it. The parachute you see on the back, that is a real parachute out back. The car's got a spool in the back, and it takes a lot of effort to drive a car with a spool. A spool locks both wheels together. I mean, there's limit.
Thank you so much. I was, well, we're going to do some sewing on this, but no, a spool. Now explain that now, Steve.
There's solid axle rear ends and independent rear suspensions. The Corvette we're going to look at in a minute. The Viper we're going to look at in a minute. They both got independent rear suspensions. This, like the 62 Corvette we're going to look at next, has a solid axle rear. The Corvette has got a limited slip differential, and that allows one wheel to turn more than the other going around a turn. This car's got a spool, and that locks both wheels together. So the tire actually has to slip when you're going around a turn.
So, in other words, this thing moves.
This moves very fast. And with the torque and the horsepower this is putting out, it really needs...
Street legal, though. I mean,
this is absolutely street legal, tagged, 100% street legal. It's actually a really safe car to drive. It's a lot of fun to drive. But it's a very, very fast car.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, hopefully he's not going to need to parachute on the going down the road on the highway, maybe on the track or something like that. But coming into the inside of it here, I'm looking into it because there is no weight. If you want a radio, you better wear a headset because I don't see one.
If it doesn't make this car go fast, it's not here. This is just a Spartan, clean, fast hot rod. Now, I'm saying it's fast. He's actually caught me sleeping. He's got my attention with the Viper before.
Yeah, I'm telling you, just absolutely gorgeous automobile. But right now, I want to remind everybody, Blue Diamond Park, Ferris wheels, roller coasters. It's fun for the entire family. And now the car guys got something to do on Sundays as well. Bring your car down there, set up from 12 to 5. If you're interested in looking at cars, come on down and join us. The kids can go in and play in the park. A lot of fun, everything else. But I see Steve making his way over to Jack right now, and it's important that we talk to Jack. As we make our way out, I want to remind everybody, I don't care what you're driving, bring it out to Blue Diamond on Sundays, because we're going to cover everything, Steve, from Corvettes to pickup trucks to anything and everything that is out there on the road. And we're going to welcome, I see some of the young guys showing up with some cars, too, we're going to talk about here in a little bit.
Yes, and we talked about not a lot of high-dollar cars, just regular guy cars. You're looking at, like, one now, it's a pretty nice ride. This is a pretty high-dollar car.
I'm going to keep you stand by here as far as my answering the right information, but I'm going to go over here to the guy that put all this together. I do that chuckling because it was your dream anyway. Steve kind of helped you out with this. Wallet. Yeah, your wallet. Let's talk about it. What are we looking at here?
It's a 1962 Chevrolet Corvette. Had it a little over 10 years. And during the course of that time, I've tried to get it back to as original as possible.
And when you're talking about that, I know that, just looking at this car, it doesn't get any sweeter than this. Now, Jack's going to be a little naive. Now, you was involved with putting this together. Let's talk about it because you can brag this baby.
Well, when Jack can tell you when he was looking for a Corvette, he got it for his birthday. Like he says, about 10 years ago. We won't say what birthday it was, and he was looking for a sateen silver with a red interior car. His second choice was a Honduras Maroon. This car was, when he got it, a Honduras Maroon with a black interior car. As he had the car, some of the paint wore off the inside, wore off the steering wheel, wore off the instrument cluster. And he started to find like little hints of red here and there, and thought, well, maybe some of the parts have been changed, maybe some of it's been replaced, with some red parts along the way. Who knows? But maybe it had a red interior one time. We didn't really know. The paint was getting a little tired, and he decided, okay, it's time for a full restoration on the car. We started taking the car apart. Started stripping the car, stripped all the old alligator paint. It was checked and cracked. Stripped everything down. Actually, I got to say, Jack took this and sat in his garage for like the whole winter with propane heaters going. And just
well, cause I was going to interrupt him there anyways, because I know Steve. He kind of helped me with some construction, because I tell Steve can do anything. You know that, and I know that, and the rest of the world's going to figure that out if we start doing this. But he came over to help me, to just do some construction on putting a drop ceiling, because he knows how to do anything and everything. He'll show you how to do it, but then he's gone, is he not? So I guess he waits until
it starts to get the dirty work, and then he says, well, call me after the winter's over.
Yeah, so how long? I mean, pretty much I know, because I used to talk back and forth with you guys, and Steve be over at your house or whatever, and you spent a lot of time into doing that.
Over the course of the winter, I was every night after work and weekends out there in the garage just hand stripping the paint with chemicals. And it probably took me about 4 months, and by that time it was warm enough that Steve stepped back in and we started doing the mechanical work together. Yeah,
and there you go. But that's why I told my guys, don't get too close to the car, because a lot of love goes into these things.
Yeah, the part that he left out in the stripping, when we finally got the car disassembled and stripped, he found under the paint, under the windshield frame that had never been off the car, the original sateen silver color. This actually was, he bought a second choice car, and just by default, by accident, divine intervention, whatever you want to call it, he got his first favorite color car.
Yeah, and then of course taking it back to what original, and that tells you, because knowing car, it had red interior.
Yeah, and part of the originality, Jack can tell you, there was basically 3 engine options. There was a 300 horsepower, a 340 horsepower, and then the fuel injector was the 360 engine. Jack, tell them what some of the differences are.
Well, you left out the base motor, which was a 250 horse. So they had 4 engine options. This is a 340 horsepower car. It's a solid lifter motor, high compression. Basically the same motor as the fuel injected, but with a 4-barrel carburetor on it.
That's spooky.
You got to know your ride. You got to know about the car you're driving.
Yeah, and of course, it doesn't get any sweeter than this. Jack and it has done an outstanding job with a little bit of Steve's guidance along the way. But you love, because this is what it's all about: being able to showcase your car, taking it out to shows. I mean, you guys do this weekend after weekend.
Absolutely, it's a joy. It's our hobby, and it's our passion.
So if you see Jack out at the show, you see the '62 Chevy Corvette, and it's not Stingray or anything. I got everything right so far.
This is the '62 Corvette. That's right.
Yeah, we got some more cars coming your way and everything else. And my time right now is just to plug where we're at Steve's Garage. But we're going to be every Sunday from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock at Blue Diamond Park with the Ferris wheels, roller coasters. Bring the kids. Come talk to Jack about the '62 Corvette as we ride the roller coasters and all that. And Steve, I see you got your next car in line. And we'll get over there, and I want to say something about CRAZY4CARZ.com, because that's what you're watching. And I see a lot of people with this on their windshields, so you're getting a lot of fans out there, if you would.
Tim, this is a new website. It's been extremely popular. And I said it earlier in the show, this is a car show for car people, by car people. If there's something you want to see, we got a tuner truck here. It's a 88, 98, something like that. We're going to talk about what this is. We're going to talk to Bobby here in just a minute. But send us an email if you want to see more trucks, if you want to see more muscle cars like the Corvette we just looked at, if you want to see more late models. Send us an email at CRAZY4CARZ.com. You can go right to the website, click on Contact Us. It's real easy. Let us know what you want to see. I'm Steve. Tim's here. Bobby,
don't ask me no quick.
Bobby's got this 88 S10. Tell us a little bit about what you got here.
I got an 88 S10. When I bought it, I put the 5.6 drop on it. I went ahead and I've only had it for 5 months, so I haven't really done too much.
Yeah, when you're talking about this, because this is a good example. This is getting started, and sometimes, because it does take money, Bobby. We all know that. I've experienced it. We're going to look at mine, too, because you kind of pushed me into that car ways, too, a little bit, but I got something a little different. We'll get to that here in a minute. But going into this is just getting started. I worked on mine, 10 years before I got it to where I get it on the street. At least you're driving. I mean, you got a lot more plans for it, too. What do you got planned on doing with it?
This weekend, actually, full interior gets fiberglassed, and then next weekend, everything's shaved. and then hopefully before the truck show, I got gonna be back.
Yeah, he's got a.
Let's talk about it. He's using some terms that like maybe everybody's not like familiar with. What is shave? Take the door handles.
Take the door handles off, take tail lights off, and I'm undecided about the body line.
Glad you are a smart man asking that question.
No, that's a good question because people like shaved. I don't know. I don't see any whiskers on the car, but it's taking the outside trim off the car and making it smooth. It looks a lot cleaner without a lot of this stuff on there. And you have electric door poppers and that sort of thing to open the doors with.
Yeah, you finished. Took my pun away because I was going to say then how you get into the car. But there's so much more, and that's before you even get to the motor because you're talking about doing a lot of things. But money is I guess that's the main factor when it comes to doing it.
And we're looking at a lot of these, calling them high rides and stuff. You don't have to have a huge motor to have huge fun in the car hobby. I mean, not all these cars have big motors. I mean, it's all different strokes for different folks. Send us an email. Tell us what you want to see.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the youth as well as the vintage, we want to invite, not the Jack, I was talking about cars, but we want to invite everybody to join us every Sunday from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock as we go to Blue Diamond Park right there off 13 and Route 1 and do the CRAZY4, and that's the letter 4, CARZ.com, and we're going to do that every Sunday, Steve. So come on out, be a part of it. Young, old alike, it doesn't matter. Bring your cars out there because this is something different. Usually you see a tuner cars at one place, and then you got the custom, all of it run under one.
Everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. It's a family event.
And I got to talk a little bit about where we're set up out there and what nice area they've done. And the only way I can do that is by reflecting back. And I want to give Rhino Linens, because that was the Rhino Linens truck show that we had down there, their first annual one, which is part of what we're doing here and boosting this on. We'll be back to do another one of those as the year goes on. I think we're looking for the fall time to bring the trucks back out and everything. But we're going to showcase, and that's one of the things we want to talk about on that website. We want to showcase different, I guess, clubs, Steve, and each and every week where it's one particular, maybe it's a Viper club one week, maybe it's something else, but we're going to take one of the clubs, I think, and give a little highlight into that club each week as well.
I mean, we'll have preferred parking. There'll be a separate section just for that club. That'll be the featured club that week.
Yeah, so we'll be letting you know about that as we go on with the show. But right here next to it, because we want to stay with the young guys for a second here, because we saw the pickup truck. Right here next to it is a great-looking truck. And who's this young man here?
This is Sean.
And how are you, young man?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. Now, this is Steve. We're coming over here. This is a little different. I'll let you. Well, Sean, I tell you what. You tell us a little bit. What are we looking at here?
It's a 1998 Honda Civic EX Coupe with a 1.6 VTEC motor.
This is a turbo motor. You don't have the turbo on right now, right? I mean, this is under construction somewhat.
Correct. I recently just cracked the manifold, and it's not boosted right now, but it's set up for low compression. It's got pistons and rods, blueprinted balance stroke, the whole nine, basically. Car makes about a little over 300 horsepower with a turbo on it. So,
yeah, I want to interrupt you here, Steve, because he completely lost me. Help me out.
Okay, a turbo and a supercharger, kind of like what we saw on the T-Bucket earlier in the show. They're both forced induction. One of them uses exhaust gases and pressures to pressurize the intake. One of them is belt-driven right off the crank of the motor to force the induction. The more air you get in the engine, the more fuel you can get in the engine. The more air and fuel, the more horsepower you make. The more horsepower you make, the more fun the ride is.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, the more power thing.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I guess that's what, because this, excuse me, this is a little bit different than the truck, because the truck's going for a different look. This is a compact, I guess. What do they call this? I mean, style-wise.
They call it mostly tuner cars. A lot of people do a variety of different things to them. There's so much you could do. Everybody has their own style, so.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it, and I see some of them that go for, because some of them go for the outside look, don't care about the motors. Some of them go for the motors, don't care about the outside look. Now, this one, it's kind of, I guess you're going for a little bit of both on this one.
A little bit of both. It's going to be soon a track car. I haven't had the car too long, but I hope to have it in the 12th.
I was talking to Sean earlier before the show started, and he's ordered a carbon fiber hood and a carbon fiber trunk lid for the car. So I mean, this is a car. Like, I mean, you can say it's under construction, but it's a good-looking car already.
Yeah, no, when you say that, that's going to lighten the weight on it.
It lightens the car up, and it's a whole different look. I mean, it's the look this style car is going after.
Well, if you want to see it with the carbon fiber trunk and hood, all you have to do is come out to the park, because I know Sean's going to be joining us, are you not?
Oh, yeah, it will be.
Yeah, and become one of the regulars out there, because that's what we want to invite people to come out. And if you, like myself, I'm learning a lot about cars, and we're going to educate Steve as we go through it on the different cars and stuff, and teach things each and every week for those people that aren't so much into the cars, and kind of explain the different things. But as well as the car people out there, if you've got questions, like Steve said, anything that you want to know, we've got that website open, and if Steve messes up, please, by all means, let me know.
On the website, there's also, like to push the website a little bit, there's a photo gallery. You can post as many pictures as much as you like in the photo gallery. We've just started, within days, a brand new classified section. The classified section is completely free. The whole website is free, and it's free to post your event. It's free to go search for events. It's real easy to use. In addition to the classifieds, the galleries, there's the events. You can look for museums, clubs. I think there's almost 1,000 clubs and museums listed.
You're going to be able to look for this show there each and every week as we change this show out. We'll also be putting it on the POS. Can I introduce POSProTV.com at this time? And also, if you go to that site, you'll be able to see this and a lot of other shows. But we're also going to jack it over to your show, however they do that. That's one of those things that you understand too. But I want to thank Sean. Sean, I'm looking at some things on here now, Steve. I'm going to get into this, because I'm looking gauges and stuff underneath the hood. Purposes of that, I don't know, but we'll save that for another show, because we're running out of time, and I do want to highlight one that I think is the best looking car on the property here.
Oh, you're talking about my Viper? No, I know you're talking about the.
Yeah, let's look at it. Let's look at it. And when I say Vipers, your love, buddy, I'm telling you, good looking car.
We're in my toy box now. These are a couple of my toys. We were just talking about like leaning on the cars and touching the cars. Well, I can lean on these because I paid a bill. But this is my Viper. This is a 94. It's 8-liter. And 94 was the last full year of the side pipe cars. I had to have a side pipe car. There were some 95s with side pipes, but the 94 was the last full year of them. On my right, I've got the Corvette. I mean, what a great ride this is. It's got an aftermarket hood. Now, the hood's very reminiscent of the 67 big block hoods. This has got, of course, the LS1 in it. The badge is right on the hood. But inside the car, we've got nitrous. There's a couple of bottles in the back. I had somebody make me up the gauge panel that goes right in the console. A couple of A-pillar pods. It's a 200 horse shot, and we're putting down in the neighborhood of 500 horsepower now.
Yeah, and when you're talking about that, I mean, these are your toys now, but I want to, before we end the show here and everything, it's important, because you being involved with this, and I really appreciate you taking your time, because, Steve, you've built a lot of cars in this garage and other garage before you got this garage up. And let's talk about some of the other cars, because I know you love the Viper, but you had a nice blue one that was its big brother you had to part with.
There was a 96 blue and white GTS, gorgeous car. I had a blue Hemi Cuda that was here for quite a while. From the green Dart, the 340 car, the Hemi cars, there's been a lot of them, the 65 Mustangs. I'm not just a Mopar guy, not just a Chevy guy. All of them are cool.
And when I talk about that, I got to go over here and talk about my baby I've had for 10 years, Steve, and it's sat in my driveway for the last 6. And finally you said, Tim, either get rid of it or do something with it. So I've painted it. It's a 79 450 SL, and that's about all I can tell you about it. It runs down the street pretty good.
It's a good-looking 450 SL. There's a lot of places on these cars where they usually rust. If you take a close look, you don't have the rust. Tim, now I know you're not a car guy. You'd rather spend some time on the Ferris wheel or the roller coaster, but I know
this is my roller coaster now.
You know about these pretty much. Why don't you explain the difference with a 450 and the SL and like what the numbers mean?
Yeah, well, of course, anybody's seen a Mercedes, the numbers themselves are engine sizes. So you've got your 320s, your 230s. Your 230s more of a 4-cylinder. 320s is the 6-cylinder. Then you get into the 4s and the 5s. That's your higher 8s, and it goes on up. And the letters themselves, if it's an S series or a C series or an E series, or the body style, and this is an SL. So this is their sports car. And you've got the sedan SLs and or SE, I should say, and the S series themselves. But that's the difference, and it's just a body style and engine size. So that's about all I know about the Mercedes. But I do know somebody knows a lot about Vipers. Yeah, because I'm telling you, and we've got pictures, and we'll put them up. We'll talk about different ones Steve's constructed over the time, and we'll get to watch him construct because he gets bored and he starts building something, so he'll start building something here sooner or later. But for right now, if you want more information about what we're doing or anything like that, once again, the website, Steve.
CRAZY4CARZ.com. Send us an email. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, and of course, we're going to be out at Blue Diamond Park each and every Sunday, starting this coming Sunday. You want to definitely join us out there from 12 o'clock until 5 o'clock. We got Turntable Tabulary will be spinning some records out there for us, and now we're going to have to mix it up. We're going to have some country going for the pickup truck guys, some rock and roll classic music for these guys, and then we got these young guys got to thump it a little bit too. So we're going to have it all, and we're going to have roller coasters and all that. Join us, and if you don't have a car, come down here and check out the car. We're going to be down there each and every Sunday from 12 to 5. Until next time, for Steve and all the guys that showed up here, we appreciate it. Until next time, we'll see you. Bye-bye.
If you're paying too much for costly print or newspaper ads, or would like to try television advertising, then give Positive Promotions a call at 302-292-3994.